Okay, morning guys. I want to give you a quick overview of the booth here and what we've got this year. So it's a regular style as we've had in previous years. So firstly we've got here the connected cam stage presentations. So of course they're going through all the new models, particularly 500, 550 of course, but the whole connected cam story. So it's quite sort of familiar points as far as we'd be concerned. Obviously, particularly for the US, it's very news orientated in terms of the customer profiling and the messaging, but otherwise it's a core connected cam message. So let's move on to the camera stage, which again is the same basic principle as previous years. I'll cover the existing models first. There's not too much to say actually, but we have got LS300 with the Atomus Ninja 5, which we of course are going to be doing a bundle on shortly. We've got 180, we've got 600 series, and then one thing to point out here on the 890 is actually using the new zoom and focus controls. So these are ones which basically start shipping now. You can see the focus actually is a different style from before, so it's a rotary wheel compared to the old HZFM controller from before. And obviously they're showing this the standalone fibre back end. Moving on to the studio area, then we have got the AC900 in studio configuration, of course, therefore with the multi-line back end. There's also another one on the other side of the booth with a box lens on it. Also, of course, got the multi-line base station there. And then an interesting thing which you maybe heard from before is the new RCP OCP, which is powered by Skarhoj, who's the Danish supplier of this. This is working in a fairly sort of basic way at the moment. I think the roadmap for this product is looking towards releasing perhaps summertime, I think it's most likely. But I think it looks nice, functionality looks good, and obviously the key points compared to RMLP25, it's an IP controller of course, and also it's a multi-camera controller, so it's addressing two of the key points that is an issue with RMLP25. So then moving on, we've got I guess really basically just standard HC900, which you can hear in standard ENG configuration beside the studio. And then we have got the HC550, which Peter Stan here is helpfully demonstrating for us. So this is working, I would say, pretty well. The lens is tracking not badly at all. The images, although actually the screen here is actually only HD and not 4K. The pictures look pretty clean. And I think obviously the camera's making progress, and the guys generally are very optimistic for June delivery. So I think we can be pretty confident in terms of planning events and road shows and so on around those dates. So I think that looks pretty safe. We then got obviously just 500 in ENG, and really same comments apply, that it's working pretty well, and lens performance and general imaging performance at the moment I think looks pretty good, so I think we're on track. On the HM250, it was kind of discussed or announced pre-show. We're not actually showing it here, but as I mentioned to certainly some of you over the last week or two, we are planning to implement Facebook Live, which is a sort of fairly simple, almost sort of one button type broadcasting Facebook Live. So that's definitely going to be coming, I think, over the next few months as a firmware upgrade. And again, as I said to some of you, I think that's really going to be interesting from a marketing point of view. I think we can do a lot of social media, and in terms of trying to promote the product to corporates and other kind of customers who are interested in that functionality. And then on the PTZ side of things, then of course it's KYPZ100. They have it here with the Magewell NDI, and again our NDI planner solution is in progress as well. But the guys in the US are bundling with or will start to bundle with the Magewell controller. What they also have, and actually US guys are I think also just starting to sell now here as well, is a PTZ head and controller from a company called KXWell, and we're showing it here with HM620, and actually it's actually a really nice system. I think it's quite affordable, so maybe it's something that we perhaps could think about as part of our portfolio as well. The controller is nice, it's very smooth. Of course, it's multi-function, multi-camera controller, so I think it's quite a nice bit of kit actually. Okay, and then moving on to, if hopefully you can see some of this in its entirety, this sort of connected cam IP workflow wall. So this is actually really most of the key points or areas that we all know. Of course, the US have one or two products a little bit different to us, but the basic premise is the same. So it's just starting on the left-hand side here. Then we have got an HC 550 and a 900. These are all working with return video over IP, IFB audio, which you've got as a working demonstration here. A couple of interesting things on the IP return video. It's actually set up now to give you a full screen video output. So you're going to take that through it's currently wired through the HDMI. That gives you return video directly out of the camera.
It was a good 20 meters.
And then in the 60 area, again, it's what we're mostly familiar with. The US run the rack style Pro HD broadcaster server as well, but of course it's showing the Pro HD ramp, so Z ramp rather, so the same product as we're bringing into Europe, and obviously the guys in the US are beginning to sell that as well. Another product they've announced here is the BREN 900 encoder. So this is both a 264 and 265 encoder, which will do up to 1080/50 or 60p, 10-bit 422. It's a high quality full bandwidth encoder, basically. And then this is the part that mostly is doing the return video and return audio. So just really the points that we know are familiar with. So just a basic working demonstration. And then finally in this section we've got the bonding solutions. Again, as you know, the US have got some of the physically bigger bonding solutions for car or for truck mounting, for example. But they're focusing actually mostly on the same SFE cam product that of course we know, and they've got, I think some reasonable success with this product, but actually they've got the same I guess you would say issues and challenges that we do, in terms of, you know, you have to go out there and demonstrate it and show customers it working. It has to be more than just an idea on paper. So that's the complete IP workflow of Connected Cam. So let's move over to a couple of other areas. And the sports area, actually it's an area as of the second morning of the show, and of course the US have got some additional sports capability that we don't carry in Europe. So it's an area that we're going to be studying in a bit more detail over the next couple of days. Can you give me 2 minutes on this for my internal European colleagues? Give me a 2-minute pitch, please. So this is Dan, JK USA. He is the expert in sports. Over to you, Dan.
So if you want, we'll just give you a workflow overview of what we're trying to accomplish. So we'll start with the Score Hub. This is made by Sportscast. This is their brand spanking new, just released actually here at NAB. What it's capable of doing, besides being able to talk to the scoreboard information from the Daktronic board or any scoreboard information, it's also able to create what you're seeing up there are the graphics out of this box via NDI. So if we can go in here, we can change, so we can set the score or the time. And what you'll notice is, well, they took on the screen, so I apologize for that. Something else that we're actually showing as well is our live CG. What this is capable of doing is creating custom graphics for our SP models, our 250 and our 500 SPCs. I'm also showing here a version of our coaches, not our coaches, but Exo's Thunder, which is their coaching software. And the other thing that we were showing over here is our 4000S, where a lot of people are checking out, which is driving our scoreboard video board. Out of that, you get your 4 channels of replay. You have 3 different types. You have short, long, and medium. Also, what we are bringing in is different NDI sources as well. And everything is being driven by our pet wave. So, and again, the score hub, and actually the 4000S, along with our 250 and our 500 SBCs, are being driven by the pet wave. So what you are looking at right here is what it gets put into the Exos Thunder. This is called tagging, or ODK, which is offense, defense, and kicking. Our 500 series cameras will be doing that, along with the graphics. With the graphics that we have, it's just like our 200 SP. And also, again, we're still showing over here is our 250 SP, showing this one as well. And currently we have it in baseball, which is a little bit different than our little setup. And if we, let's see here, overlay settings, I just want to change this to back to basketball. And then what we're showing here is that you can connect to the sportscast. And what you will notice is that now all of the information is being driven from the scoreboard. Give me 1 second. Sorry. Now what you can actually tell is that we're actually driving our cameras and we're actually driving the scoreboard. And again, all of the graphics that you see there is all customized by the live CG.
Great, thank you, Dan. Thanks very much. So I think obviously there's quite a number of things there which, of course, we are not directly doing at the moment. I think one thing that we do need to consider whether or not this whole area, whether there is a sufficient market enough for us in Europe to try and develop and bring some of these solutions over. Obviously, you know very well the college sports market and so on is huge in the States, and they've got very strong business in this area. And actually, interestingly, in terms of HC900, that's principally where they're selling the camera at the moment, rather than to production live event. It's mostly into sports, selling the 900 at the moment. So I think it's an area that we need to study a little bit going forward. Moving on to the connected cam studio. So again, as you guys know, the US have been doing Pro XT Studio, which is basically similar to the StreamStar X4, X7 products. The latest model is now branded, as you can see, Connected Cam Studio, and that's the latest model. So again, as we've talked a little bit already, then we need to consider how we introduce these products into Europe and how we handle StreamStar products going forward, but we'll talk about that in due course. One other thing which is in this version of the product is camera tracking. If we go into here, I hope you can see this okay. But you can see it's just a bit at the moment, but you can see here, for example, you can set the area of interest where the camera is tracking, and hopefully you can see that. You can set each X and Y axis. You can then define which areas you're actually monitoring within that, and then you can set up the preview to check the motion tracking. So it's a beta, obviously, but I think it's interesting. It looks as if it's going to be working well. So for things like education, houses of worship, in combination with PZ100, I think it's going to be a really interesting addition to the StreamStar Connected Cam Studio products in due course. Then on regards to monitors, so the US guys not showing every monitor product, of course, so they're featuring mostly the DTG series, which they've actually got showing using the U-shaped bracket, but also, of course, maybe most importantly right now, the new DTU series. So they're showing here at the moment 31 Pro and the 31E, which is the two models that they're going to focus on. So I think the guys here, like us in Europe, are very happy that the products are finally beginning to ship. That's I think a strong area for all of us. I guess really almost last thing just to mention. Another thing which was announced is the adapter on the HC900 to take SSD media. So the firmware upgrades to version 3, as they're calling it, in HC900, which supports ProRes recording to SSD media and the drop-in slot. There's a few practical issues about how that is physically connected. Needs a little bit of work actually, but the principle is there that you've got the ability to drop in SSD media and to be doing ProRes HD recording on the HC900. So that could be quite interesting from a workflow point of view for some customers. So I think that's just about it. So hopefully that gives you a sort of fairly good feeling of what's showing there. It's been quite a lot of European customers here so far. Got some interesting inquiries. So obviously we'll be talking about that in due course. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you back in Europe. Thanks. Bye bye.